Welcome into the ATB show. It is at the buzzer. You actually have the three pillars.
Let's go.
If it's a three-legged stool, yeah, we're opening the show with stool. Yes,
I'm the seat.
that'll be on your medical community quiz later. Can we get a sample? Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Yeah, you've got Adam and Timmy and Billy. That's what the ATB stands for. Also at the buzzer. And also the accoutrement of Uncle Dukes, who's fighting his way through the internet right now. He's fighting his way in. Corey's in hair and makeup. We will not have Corey this week. Maybe next week. We plan to join you next Tuesday at 5 p.m. for the show. It'll be the first one of 2025. We're brought to you by our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks. And Scotty is restarting his Chromebook. I don't know what he's using over there.
Oh,
I don't know what's happening.
Windows 10.
I'm pretty sure that I'm on a Mac, you're on a Mac, and Rubbish is on a Mac, and those are all working.
I'm actually on a Chromebook, believe it or not. All joking aside, I am on a Chromebook.
I gotta be honest. Before I do it, and it's losing momentum as I tell this story, but I can't help myself. I got a new phone because I hit this one on the desk so much, I broke it. So Kaylee gave me a whole new desk phone, but she's like, "Grandpa, you got to keep this. So when you get mad, you got to bang that phone." You have no idea. It's so much going on.
Oh my God. There he is. Let's go.
Is that a cold compress on your forehead? Are you Mr. Miyagi? I have so many late questions.
Jesus Christ.
Scotty jumped into the belly of the beast.
Yeah. So much.
I've been on vacation since December 19th.
Yeah.
Have you really?
You sound really relaxed.
It looks like a Minshew bandana.
It's my hair is super long. I don't get my hair chopped until Thursday or Friday, so it drives me nuts when it's down in my face and stuff. So yeah,
I'm every 167 and a half hours to a T.
Wow.
Or I lose my mind. Like it gets too fluffy. And I'm not saying yours is too fluffy. I'm saying when mine gets too fluffy. Like my test is if you run your hand up the back of your head, the hair shouldn't fold up. It should just immediately snap back. Like I go zero fade to fade.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Rubber Shoes, what's your plan?
I go every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Wow. Damn. I'm like 7-8 weeks in between.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm 6 weeks right now, but I'm going to change.
Hipster doofus. 7-8 weeks.
Sometimes 9. Would you believe it?
Dear. When you head in at that point.
Yeah, they're not happy.
The world's your oyster. You could get a fresh permanent.
You could get
like a Scott Baio feathered haircut from Happy Days. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you just do you go in and sit down and just say, "Make me beautiful," or is there a plan?
No. I have a plan. It generally doesn't work out to the best of my ability. At 45 years old, I still haven't figured out how to tell them how to do my hair. So, I come out and I'm usually not that happy for the first two weeks, and then I get it to the point where I'm happy, and then I wait 5 weeks before I go back.
And I think most of the jury knows I'm about to. I have a follow-up question, Your Honor.
Please.
And I know you're about to disappoint me.
Answered.
Are you going to Supercuts?
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, not Supercuts, but along those lines. Yes. Are you hanging up on me? Are you breaking your phone? What's happening?
No, it's right here. It's right here. No,
all
there's
right,
no.
Don't break it. It feels a little judgy. I gotta say, a little judgment feels like it's coming my way.
Predictable compassion. Scotty's here. Billy's here. Adam's here. So much to talk about. We were joking, Scotty, before you got here. This is the week where
are we live? Are we on?
Did
I miss that part? I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're coming in hot out of the green room. What do you got? What's happening?
I got finishing up a 603.
Oh,
and then
I like it.
Wonderful. I can now share with you guys. It was official yesterday. Yesterday was 1 year no alcohol.
Oh, congratulations!
Because it was technically my last. I love this. The best part is I get to tell everybody what my last drink was, which was, 366 days ago. It was my final Mai Tai at Kowloon.
Wow!
Because then the next day
That's a good last drink.
we did the KGA winter meetings, the little golf crew here at the office. We did that on a Thursday. I was in here on that Friday, which doesn't make sense because yesterday was a Sunday, but it was leap year. In here on a Friday, that's when Jen called and told me that Cheryl had fallen. And I'm like, oh, well, we got to get down there and all that kind of stuff. And then that went into like, just didn't drink the rest of December, obviously, the last three days of December. Then Dryuary happened, and then it was Lent. And then I was like, let's try this on for size. And here we are.
And how are we feeling about it?
Good. I mean, I've been pretty transparent with you guys. The long-term play was, what if I do miss it? Like that was my big concern. Like knowing that it is in both bloodlines on my side of the family. Clearly, Janina's brother battled it while he was alive. It was like sort of a, what if I do miss it? And now that I've been full calendar, all the holidays, all the events, all the socializing, golf, which for the poor souls on the show that have seen me golf in public, in person, you would be like, he has to be drunk, and I'm not. Stone. You don't even have a rifle. You don't even have a left and right.
You don't even have a sip of wine at book club or anything. Wow.
No,
very nice.
The new go. It's the old man's Shirley Temple. I do Sprite and cranberry because I found when I do tonic and cran in the last few months when I order tonic and cran, and I'm pretty loud and annoying, but like when I say tonic and cran, if I don't, I guess enunciate well enough, they just assume I meant Tito's tonic and cran. And I've had a few people close to me like, oh no, he just said tonic and cran, and they correct it before they go.
Oh wow,
which would be annoying. If I took a sip, I'd be like, well, that wasn't on me because I had no fucking idea they were bringing me a drink. But like in the grand scheme, when you say Sprite and cranberry, they look at you and they're like, oh,
that's so sweet.
I didn't know they made gay people your age. And I'm like, yep, I'm doing it. I want an umbrella. I'm wearing a sundress. Yeah, rock and roll, baby. So anyway.
Oh man. Well, congratulations. That's big. So
that's happening. I appreciate it. And
I'm 4 weeks in.
Oh, okay.
When did you start?
It was the Saturday after Thanksgiving was my last.
Scotty shows up with the fucking ski goggles. I don't know what's on your head, but
it's just a bit. I'll take it off.
Such a dick.
There we go.
4 weeks ago. Thanks, Dad. Well,
no kidding.
He's department mathematician.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing Dryuary and starting then. 4 weeks in.
I instead of doing a diet beginning January 1st, I did it the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so I wouldn't gain the 10 pounds that I gained during the holidays every year.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Amazing. Amazeballs.
Been on a diet, been alcohol free.
So I'm going the other way, but by the way. So I normally don't drink at all.
After the show, Adam plans on drinking a whole bunch just to get over the show.
No,
that's why Scotty drinks during the show. It's the only thing that holds our relationship together. Scotty has to be inebriated to be around me.
Well, you did bust his balls about his headwear for a little while.
There's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. It is very, very, very Uncle Rico. Keep going.
I like it. But so Jess's one of Jess's people that she works with made homemade Kahlua. So she sent home a nice big bottle of homemade Kahlua.
Is he single?
I am. It's a she, and I'm not sure.
I see that first question was so everybody knew there was no judgment and much acceptance. I will shoulder roll like I'm in Call of Duty 7 off the wagon for homemade Kahlua. What's happening there? Where do you start?
I don't even know. She brought it home, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give that a whirl. I've never even tried Kahlua before, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I had 2 frozen mudslides. That's like, what I've had.
I have to imagine, and I'm from Stratford, New Hampshire, so it's everywhere up where certainly where Corey grew up. Corey grew up in Machias.
You're not from Stratford, New Hampshire.
No, I'm a masshole. I'm from
Chelmsford. There a while.
Yeah, we've been in the cut for a little bit, rubber shoes, for a little bit.
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
I'll turn this car around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like,
it's been a while since we've all been together.
Moonshine seems like it has to be relatively simple.
Yeah, probably.
Just because it's clear. Like, well, I don't even know where to start there. Just Kahlua to me, homemade Kahlua is like, what?
From what I understand, it's actually quite easy. It's like, and I don't know this for sure, but I think it's like sugar. Like it's just really super sweet. It's not even about the alcohol as much. This is what I understand. I don't know.
That's what he's telling himself.
Yeah, it's barely alcohol. I mean, I'm not even drinking. I don't even know what I'm doing here. So I don't know how it's made, but it's a lot of sugar, some coffee mixed in. I don't know. So it's not moonshine. I'll tell you that much.
The best part is Adam's got his new job. Everybody in the office must be like, "What's that smell?" And he's trying to pass it off as new cologne.
I call it Kahlua by Jane. Oh, that's
Lord.
good.
Dear Lord.
I haven't. By the way, it was all while I was on break. I wasn't at work while this was happening. Okay, just to be clear, I don't want to get. I've only been three months in. I don't want to get booted out of work because it was all on break.
Well,
just to be clear.
I can assure you you're not listening.
Big Boston sports people up in Berlin, Connecticut.
Don't worry. Yeah, right. There it is. Where do we want to start? Because I can't wait to get to the meat on the bone, which is the Patriots have to not screw up next weekend. And I can't wait to fight with Scotty about it because I'm sure Scotty wants them to win for some inane reason.
I don't necessarily want them to.
All right, we're starting
win.
there. I love it. Go.
Let's do it. Yeah. I don't necessarily want them to win. Like if they win, they win. I mean, look, they're not taking Sanders first anyway. You know what I mean? And everyone thinks that he's going to be the number one pick, but I think they're honestly going to trade out, even if they get the number one or number two pick. I think they'll package it for a bunch of picks personally, but and get Will Campbell at some point or somebody like that. You know what I mean? And fix some of the offensive line and get some other stuff. But I don't care if they win or lose at this point. I just want them to be freaking competitive.
Say that again. Didn't that feel good? Say it again.
No, it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel good at all. It hurts me. But I just want them to be competitive.
I'm so comfortable with our mediocrity at one Gillette Place or one Foxborough. It doesn't matter.
So were you comfortable with the way they played Sunday, though?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why?
No, I'm not.
And comfortable with that and thrilled with the Giants' performance.
Yeah, but that's so it's different though. Like, let me ask you this: are you comfortable with that type of performance in Week 6? Not knowing, like, let's say they're a 4 and or like a 2-3 team, and they have that performance in Week 6. You know what I mean? Like that's not what you want to see, right? You want to see. That's what I'm saying. I guess is I'm never comfortable with seeing something like that.
I'll walk it back. Oh, were we 40-7? What was?
Don't Gerard Mayo me. You don't have to Gerard Mayo me. It's okay.
what was this? No, I'm patiently waiting at my bus stop for my bus to pull up because everything I said almost a year ago is like about to happen.
Yeah, 40-7.
So no. To your point, no. Rubber Shoes and I have been sitting side by side on this. I want Drake to play well, develop more, and build confidence, and lose by 1.
And Danny Ainge it at the end.
Yeah, we were this close. We were right there. Like at this point, it would be madness it would be madness. And Rubber Shoes and I were talking yesterday. Rubber Shoes is like, rest for what? There's nothing left. I'm like, well, fight for what? Like, Joe Milton should start. Drake May shouldn't play Sunday because it's a moot point. There's nothing to gain. There's an ACL to lose or maybe another Tua concussion, which he didn't get. I know, but he took a shot to the head that had him exit the game. Yeah, let the kid rest. There's nothing to gain. And the Bills are probably going to rest people because they could beat us with a hodgepodge of their players. We absolutely need to gracefully find a way to hold on to position number 1. To your point, Scotty, I think in the great tradition of Bill Belichick, we're probably going to trade out for a bunch of stuff.
You'll get, and
if you could argue
more for the first pick than the 5th pick.
Yeah, and that's what we slide to. Yeah. For the same reason, I think the Eagles, who are without Hurts, I was talking to Aiden about this morning. I think if they do I know we're way off topic. Welcome to the show. If they do let Saquon go for his 101 to get the record, if he wants to do that, I think you have to do that in a way in which, unless he breaks one on the first snap for 87 yards, of course you let him score and celebrate. It'll be a great moment. Then you get him his 14 more yards. Then you sit him down. But I would run an offense if I'm the Eagles that I'd probably pull him off the field when we get to the 20-yard line. And I let him get his yardage, but I'm trying to lose that game because I'm not trying to help the Giants in my division slide back up if the Patriots are dumb enough to not play dead.
Yeah. I mean,
if I'm the Eagles, I'm doing whatever I can to let the Giants beat me. Who cares?
Right.
All their homework is already done. And ours is too. We're sitting on a golden ticket, and I feel like Veruca Salt's going to pull Augustus Gloop and shove him into the chocolate and everything up for everybody. It was all there. It's all there.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I'm the fat kid. I'm going to make food references. Any chance I get, I'm going to wheel it.
I haven't seen that movie in 35 years. But well, Philly plays at the same time as New England, so I don't know if that. I know what you're saying. I do see your point, but I mean, I think they start Drake. I agree with Billy. I think experience at this point is that you say, what are they playing for? I'd say a lot of them playing for jobs, not necessarily the coaches, because we can talk about the coaches for a whole different thing. But there's a lot of players out there that aren't necessarily guaranteed anything, especially Keon White after he sounded off, which I loved the fact that he sounded off and he didn't say anything that everyone is thinking anyway. You know what I mean? Everything that he said was spot on. I loved it.
Did you hear their press secretary? 2 more guys, 2 more. Like,
oh yeah,
when he was unloading. Yeah, I don't know if that might have been Stacey James. I couldn't tell if it didn't sound like Stacey James, but somebody in the background on the audio was like, 2 more, we gotta go.
Yeah, let's cut that.
But that's such a culture shift because nobody would have said that last year.
No,
they would have said we're on to Buffalo.
You know what? And to me, that shows that and everyone. People have been shitting on Bill and stuff like constantly. It shows to me that it is a bigger shit show now with Mayo and Covington and Alex Van Pelt. That's his new name in my household, at least. It's just a mess in there. Like the fact that they're asking him about coaching. Are you being coached the way that, they asked him about scheme at first, and then they asked him about coaching, and basically he just kept deferring to, that's not really my decision. That's not my decision. That's up to someone else. So basically giving a no answer, and that no answer just spoke volumes. So to me, it's a culture shift and not in a good way. Definitely not in a good way.
I'm going to have an unpopular opinion here, but I think that Mayo did not get fair shake. I know Kraft said he's bringing him back. I know all that, but I think from the fan base, I do not think he got a fair shake. I think, first of all, the first coach after Belichick people are gonna hate him anyways. I mean,
everyone loved him when he was hired.
Who loved him? Not you. You didn't love him when he was hired.
No, they loved him because he was a player. He played for us. He's been here.
Nobody on this show loved him. No, well, Scotty might have, but you and Timmy didn't love him.
I
would
rather have someone else.
Right.
I didn't have an issue with Mayo. I had an issue with Mayo being our head coach.
Okay. Well, so there you go. That's the same thing, right? I mean,
doesn't mean I don't like him.
No, fair enough, but you don't like him as the head coach. That's my point. I'm not saying you don't like him as a person. And again, belabored this point a bunch. Kraft being a man of his word, which, after watching the Dynasty, I don't know if I feel this is a complete sentence anymore, but here we go. Kraft being a man of his word, promised him the keys, blah, blah, blah. I think that had to change when Vrabel became available. Now, you could argue, well, Vrabel was up over during the season, got his red jacket on the bye week for the Titans. He would have felt differently if they were having any sort of conversation around that. And they wouldn't have had the conversation. He was the head coach at the Titans, who should not have been fired, right? Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people right now would most likely rather be meandering through another year of Belichick, getting the right staff and the right quarterback.
But I think this is the
problem. Then moving on to Mayo, and now Mayo, this is really weird because they do love him. And Kraft said, I've known he's going to be my head coach for all this time. This is all on the Krafts now. And I think Mayo's got to go. And when Mayo goes, and it'll be next Monday, it'll be Black Monday. Why would they wait? I don't know why they would wait. When Mayo goes, his coaching staff goes, and I think Elliot Wolf has to go.
The problem, though, with this
and
whole
Louis
thing,
Riddick, I'm going to say it 3 more times. Louis Riddick. I want Louis Riddick as our GM.
Okay.
Super smart. Love him to death.
The problem with all of this to me is, and I've said this before, everybody is so quick to fire the head coach. You're not going to build a program around a guy who you bring in for one season. He's got no offensive line. Defense was riddled with injuries at the beginning of the season. There's no way that you can expect this guy to take a team who Belichick left in shambles. Let's be honest. He left it in shambles. And didn't he, though? Didn't he? I mean, go ahead, Scotty.
Worse as the year went on, and he was a defensive guy.
Exactly. Yeah,
we were excited about the defense at the top of the season. Go ahead.
You talk to Ecamm about getting like the teams, in Microsoft Teams. you can raise your hand in a meeting.
First of all, for you're risking our relationship by saying teams and Ecamm in the same sentence. Ecamm is
their AI just picked that shit up,
and I love them, and they're not a sponsor yet.
Right.
So part of that argument, though, Adam, is you went from a top 10 defense last year to one of the worst. Like it's not. It's like 29th right now. So, and you lost Judon, who was only there for a third of the season last year, if that. And you lost Barnmore, who did have a good year last year, but he also missed some time as well. Pretty much everyone else is back, right? Everyone else is back. And most of the folks played. I mean, Taki missed first 4 to 6 games of the season. Mapu missed a few games here and there and stuff too, but for the most part,
longer this year than last year.
You had, exactly. You have like essentially the same pieces, especially on defense. Offensively, it's been a mess on offense. Our offensive line is a joke. That's why I think they really need to focus on that. Yes, they need skill players, but I think they need to build on like getting a young offensive line. If you look back how they built, during the 20 years of dominance, a lot of it was because they drafted well in the offensive line, between, starting with like a Matt Light and going all the way to like when they drafted Tooney and those guys. So I think that's a part of it. But the problem that I have with the head coach is more so that
print that shirt.
It's more so that the fact he doesn't know how to be a head coach. I think he's a good position coach. I don't think he's a head coach.
The largest lead indicator of a lack of discipline is the amount of penalties we've had this year.
That's one. 2 is the in-game adjustments or lack thereof. 3 is like the actual in-game moments, right? Scenarios that are coming up that aren't being played well. If it's late in the half, or if it's late even in the game, or if it's late in the quarter, or if it's a certain, down and distance that you're looking at, or, there's a time to throw a challenge flag and there's times not. Stuff like that he's just not. He's never been a head coach before. And so
for him been a coordinator.
Him and the Crafts to put him in, Timmy's point is spot on. For the Crafts to put him into this position, Belichick is no longer the whipping boy. He's no longer the scapegoat. They can't put this on him. They cannot. This is on them. This season is on the Crafts because, one, they didn't spend any money. They have the most cap room in football for the second straight offseason, right? They didn't spend any money. Elliot Wolf did a horrible job, drafting. You look at some of the wide receivers. By the way, this past draft, if you look at some of the rookies that are out there that, the Pats could have snagged, look at Jalen Polk, who's been horrible, but then you got other guys down and I'm blanking on a couple of names right now, but that have done way, way better. This draft was loaded with talent, and we missed out on a ton of it. So it's just, it's hard for me to sit here. Do I want him? Do I think he'll come back? Yes. Covington should not come back. Do you want to give Van Pelt, I say the name right, another year because you don't want to mess up your rookie quarterback? Sure. But is it the right decision? No, I don't think so. But I think that's what we're going to end up seeing.
So let me just say this, and then I'll drop the point. Okay. So you make great points on the draft class. We swung and missed on a lot of draft in the draft quite a bit. Up and down. There's a lot to work on with the Patriots, right? But okay. Oh, I thought we were gonna get a. Oh, he's not letting us hear it.
Burgers and tots. Good.
Okay. We'll see if he gets up. Anyways, my point is this. So everything that you listed off about Mayo in particular, just Mayo, right? Not the front office, not the crafts, none of that. Just the stuff you listed off about Mayo sounds eerily similar to me. Now, obviously in a football context, but to Missoula and how people felt about him in his first season. People said he didn't call timeouts. People said he wasn't good situationally. People said he didn't know how to handle his talent. Now, you have to look. It's apples and oranges. I understand, because you had Tatum, you had Brown, you had a much.
Yeah, they won. That's the difference.
They didn't. No, they won. They won. Everybody said it was all them and not the coach. That's what everybody said, right? They didn't have rookies. They had 7
Well, they
years.
could have won a championship if it wasn't for the coach.
Well, see, there you go. And they did win a championship the next year. I'm not saying the Patriots are going to win a championship next. Okay, so Gerard Mayo can't learn. Come on.
Well, he's in a full year. Things have gotten worse from the way they started, so he hasn't learned.
Go back and listen to the shows where everybody was riding Joe Missoula like crazy about his timeouts, about his situational calls. People thought the Celtics were wasting Tatum and Brown because they had Missoula as the coach and they couldn't wait to get rid of him. And they just happened to make the Eastern Conference Finals, as you said, despite the coach. And that's what people were saying the whole time. And then the next year he led him to a championship. Like, I don't get it. You can't.
Yeah, he learned from his mistakes.
Great.
Mayo hasn't learned from his mistakes this year.
But Missoula didn't learn from his mistakes in the first season that he was the head coach.
So you think the fix is to keep him and keep Elliott and maybe change the coordinators?
I think everything that Scotty said outside of letting the head coach go makes a whole lot of sense. I think you have to keep leadership at the top. I'm not even sure if you keep the GM. I think obviously some mistakes were made, but I don't know. I am of the feeling that you got to give a head coach 3 or 4 years to do something. And I just don't think I hate when coaches get fired after 1 year. I hate it. Doesn't matter, even if I'm not rooting for the team. I hate when coaches get fired after 1 year.
I'll say this I will say that firing a coach after 1 year of hiring him shows terrible you're a terrible organization, in my opinion. Right? Like, it's not something you look around the league and you're like, oh, the Jaguars just hired that coach and they fired him already, or the Panthers just whatever. You look around like the dregs of the league, the horrible teams out there that do this, Cleveland, whatever, right? That have done this over years and years and years. You never thought that the Patriots would be in that position. Now, at this point, though, if it's to get your team to be better, like, look, if someone says to me, "Hey, Mike Vrabel is ready to take this job," if someone said that, like, I'm like, yeah, fire Mayo in a heartbeat. I think Vrabel's the better coach, and he just needs to be brought in. Eat the money of Crafts. You got to eat the whatever guaranteed money he has and call it a day. Because to me, that if there's a better coach that's willing to come in and to take the job, then you fire him. And there's a lot of better coaches right now than Mayo. Do I think he gets another shot? Yes, he gets another shot. Has he necessarily earned it? I mean, look, 40-7. Like, they talked about this going into the last 3 weeks of the year, is that he has his job unless there's basically a catastrophe. Well, 40-7 is a pretty big fucking catastrophe.
Okay, well, I mean, agree to disagree, but I hear your point.
And the fans would chant and fire Mayo at the end of the game. The 10 that was still in attendance.
That's horrifying. I think that's terrible. This is in such poor taste, but
I don't know. Fire Covington's more accurate, in my opinion. I think Covington's worst defensive coordinator.
I think if they're gonna keep Mayo, they need to bring in 2 coordinators that were former head coaches and can help Mayo, because Mayo didn't get any on-the-job training with Belichick. It shows because during the offseason, he was already like, wow, I didn't realize how much other stuff I got to take care of as the head coach. So he wasn't schooled on the way up through the ranks. He wasn't taught anything. He was thrown in there and didn't have a lot of knowledge of what went on with being a head coach. So I think if they bring a coordinator on both sides that have been head coaches and they can help Mayo along with that and be better coordinators, I would go for that.
You know who else they said that? You know who else they said that about? Joe Mazzulla after his first year. We just need to get him some assistant coaches. He didn't have any good assistant coaches. Sam
Cassell was great.
Yeah, Sam Cassell. They brought Sam Cassell in. He
Does
lost.
He want to coach football?
No, I'm just saying that's. But the argument for getting rid of Mayo is exactly what people were saying about Mazzulla, and I'm not saying that you keep Mayo and all of a sudden the Pats are going deep into the playoffs. But I am saying that you've got to keep a coach around to let the guy work and see what comes of it. I agree with you. Bring in better coordinators, absolutely. Bring in guys who have experience, absolutely. But
the difference. Sorry, Adam. The comparison you keep making, the difference though, is that you didn't hear it from the players. You didn't hear it from Tatum and Brown that they weren't being coached well enough, that the coach didn't know what he was doing, that, we went nuts about like the way the timeouts and that he wasn't calling plays. The players were saying, no, he's doing this, he's doing that. They were saying that in his first year. But with the Pats, numerous people have been like, they're not doing enough from a coaching perspective. And the fact that Mayo barely goes and talks to the offensive side of the football, which is atrocious right now. He doesn't talk to Van Pelt. He doesn't barely go over there because he stays on the defensive side because that's his experience. All right, fine. But something needs to change. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's the comparison there isn't, like you said, it's not apples to apples. It is an apples to oranges thing. And during his first year, as much as people were getting on him for, his in-game decision-making, when it came to like practices, when it came to him coaching and working with the players, there was never really any complaints about that part behind the scenes. It was more of like with the Pats, there's a lot of complaints behind the scenes because it's super dysfunctional. And as a head coach, you need to step up and get that in order. There was an old coach, off the rails. Timmy loves it. An old coach, Jack Pardee. You guys remember Jack Pardee? Yeah. Any idea what I'm talking about? He used to coach for the Houston Oilers back in the day, and before that, he coached for Washington, and before that, he was a player for Washington. Jack Pardee was a player's coach because he was a player, and he expected the players to basically be like him, being, in the building on time and doing this and specific, drills and whatever. He was never the guy to kind of corral things. Jack Pardee was also the coach of some of the biggest collapses in NFL history, where he'd start off a season like 6-2 and not even make the playoffs. Stuff like that. That's the type of coach I feel like we have here, that he's a player that is expecting things and not really understanding what he actually has to do when it comes to being the actual head coach and to drive the bus. I don't know. It just, to me, the comparison between that and Mazzulla, where Mazzulla was working so closely with Udoka, he had that, to Billy's point, he had that at least experience of being that, that second assistant in charge to kind of watch what was happening. I don't think Mayo ever got that from Belichick, because Belichick was probably like, yeah, I'm good. You're not going to, no.
Not taking my job.
Yep. That. So I don't know. It's a little different.
No, it's totally different. I'm there with you. I'm just trying to make the point that like we have such a tendency with every sport to be like, oh, it's the head coach. It's got to be the head coach. Drake May is amazing. It's got to be the head coach. I just think we're so quick to pull that trigger.
I said last year when I said that Mayo wasn't going to last, I never thought it would be a year. Do I want it to be Monday? Sort of. At the same time, does he deserve time? And I've said the Jimmy Johnson quote a million times, but the Jimmy Johnson quote was before free agency was a thing, and now with college football being what college football is, Jimmy Johnson's old rule was you got to give a coaching program about 3 years to set in. It's not really a thing anymore because now there's free agency in college ball too. It's got to be more immediate. Can I see the Kraft's ego saying we're not going to get rid of him because he's our guy? And to your point, Adam, does he deserve another year? Sure. If I'm Bobby Kraft, this is Tim Lindsay is a fan. This is what I need Robert Kraft to do this week. You go in and you sit him down and say, you're going to be here next year. Your fucking staff's going to be missing, but you're going to be here next year. I need you to do one thing for me this Sunday. Work on things.
Lose.
Work on everything except for the end zone.
Right. I'm
And
with
if
you.
I'm
I
him,
think that's.
if I'm him,
Yep.
I'm like, yep, I get to keep my job, and I have my hands on a golden ticket. And then the larger conversation is Elliot Wolf, the guy that gets to spend the golden ticket. Go ahead, Scotty.
That's 2 references.
Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Whoa, I just picked that up. Yeah.
I can quote the whole end of that movie if you want me to.
I'd rather you not.
Stole
No,
fizzy
we're
lifting
good.
drink.
We're good. We're
The
good.
walls
We're
have
good.
to be
We're
washed
slow
and
down. Slow down.
sterilized. Good day, sir. Clear as crystal, black and white.
Man.
Cetera,
Well, I
cetera.
guess we will see on Monday. We will see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bob Kraft's ego is big enough that he will not let him go because he did say, this is my guy, and I've known it for years.
Yeah.
Is it a disservice to get rid of him? Could he have more time? I just think I think we're in a win yesterday ecosystem with everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
You know,
100%. 100%.
There are products right now that you can push play on Amazon, and it might be at your house tonight.
Right.
And that is leaked into everything. So give him some time, and he's going to build his team. Maybe he's just not the guy. But then Vrabel's going to go somewhere. Then Ben Johnson's going to go somewhere, or whoever we want the head coach to be is going to go somewhere. Flutie will get a job before Mayo gets another job. Yep, I'll hire him. I'll start a 33rd fucking team just to prove everybody wrong.
Oh, that's good.
The strap down clowns. We are wild in fantasy.
Let's
and
go.
worse in person. Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Definitely need more drop kicking in your team.
Oh my God. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Black Monday is going to be interesting though. Black Monday is going to be super
No
interesting.
Belichick involved in that though. So
Or the other way this could go, just to send an absolute message and make it easier for them to just lose gracefully on Sunday, is he gets fired this week. And you make Covington or Van Pelt the interim for 20 minutes while you're on the phone with Vrabel.
Scotty.
No.
Because then he doesn't have to get
Scotty's
played.
not happy with that.
Then you have signaled to the fan base we're making a change.
No, after that. Terrible.
Straight out of what? Straight out of what?
Listen, if Mayo's here next year,
That's amazing.
straight out of Berwick, you're such a hood rat.
That's
So-
amazing.
I didn't buy them. It was a gift. So it's
Yeah, that's
See
a
in
good
Maine,
gift.
You see it.
That's
see
a good
on,
gift.
On the West Coast, it's the Crips and the Bloods.
Uh-oh.
In Maine,
Uh-oh.
it's the Crips and the Cuds. That's what the Choose Cow, right? The Choose Cow. the cows chew cuds. Yeah.
Boom.
it's so funny for me. Like New Hampshire people call like us with the cows. You're Cow Hampshire. Cow Hampshire. Like, I'm pretty sure you
How
have
many-
more cows than we do.
Farmer Bob, how many acres do you have?
We've got sheep. We got sheep. Oh, how many acres do I have? Like 5.
Yeah.
It's not.
I only have 2 over in Stratford in the big city. We only have 2 acres.
I have
the
half.
big city.
Big city, Stratford.
Big city.
Yeah, big city.
I'm sure you'll get
I've been
Flutie
there
to
in a
come
while.
there. No problem.
We're a flyover state. We got a few minutes to dot a few I's and cross T's. I have to get over to book club, so we're going to be
Oh,
expedient.
jeez.
Is anything coming from Fenway Rubber Shoes that we should care about?
No, it's been crickets
Love it.
over there.
Perfect. Nope.
Next.
Next. Why are the Celtics 500 in the last 10 games? What's going on? Talk to me, my NBA insiders.
Effort.
Oh, I'd love to see Al Horford not take 10 fucking threes. Stop
Oh, my
shooting.
God.
The
Yeah,
game
except when he
started
makes them.
last night. The game started last night, which was a pleasure because the late window for the NFL was deplorable. The game started last night.
Actually,
and
that was a good game. The last night's game.
not Sunday night. The 4:00 window. There were only 2 games, and they were terrible.
Well, the Vikings
Oh.
game became a game.
Oh, Vikings Green Bay.
They did the High School Musical celebration. That was pretty good.
We're running out of time.
Anyway, 1 for 10 from 3. Al needs to stop shooting. That's number 1.
Grandpa.
Tatum didn't show up until like the fourth quarter. I don't know
Mhm.
what was going on with him, but I mean, the fact that he ended up with 22 is impressive because he had like 9 after 3.
It's a
But
great number.
yeah,
He didn't even have a field goal in the first half, right?
Oh, he was
If I'm
awful.
remembering
Yeah,
that correctly, it was
just
awful.
yeah.
Oh.
I think Billy's right. I think effort's is a massive issue. I think they're worn down a bit, from the deep run last year. I think
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
that's probably a part of it. And it's not just the deep run last year; it's the deep run the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before.
Right.
But I definitely think they need to step up and show up a little bit more. It's nice to see that he's giving minutes to like Walsh and a few others, but not to
Walsh
jump
played
on
great.
Missoula, but we need to figure out. I think they're still trying to find their way a little bit in regards to the lineup. I think Porzingis being out again is not helping them right now. I don't have an update exactly of where he's
Miles
at.
Turner killed them last night.
He had a huge game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think it's a little bit underrated that Drew's out. Like you get
That's
a guy
huge,
who
huge
is
miss.
he's
Huge miss.
right. That's what I'm saying. And with the Celtics, it's funny because you'll hear the commentators and they'll be like, "Well, they're out with no Holiday, no Porzingis, but Sam Hauser is stepping in." And as much as I love Sam Hauser, I mean, don't get me wrong, Hauser's not D'ing up Tyrese Halliburton very well. I mean, let's be honest about it. And Halliburton's been playing really well, except for those 2 games between OKC and then
Halliburton's
us.
a stud. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an
And so,
stud.
I mean, you can't switch out Hauser for Drew Holiday and expect the same level of intensity. Hauser's at his best when he's just coming off screens and throwing up bombs. But I think it's 100% that they're worn down. And I think what will be interesting about the West Coast trip is that they have a couple of games that they should get up for. Like even if you're worn down, like that's a championship team that you have to get up for, like the upstart Rockets. Like that's a game that they will love to lose, and they should beat that team. And I think they play OKC right when they're on the West Coast. So
they play
that'll be
Minnesota, which will be a good game. Oklahoma City, Houston, Toronto, Denver. Yeah.
So
Houston, they do play Toronto before they go on the trip.
Like Denver, Houston is a game that they have typically loved to lose, right? A real scrappy, hard playing team. I mean, yeah, they're third in the West. I don't think they'll stay third in the West for the rest of the season, but right now they're playing hard and playing for our former coach who, everybody said should have been the one that stayed around, but he didn't. So I think they'll right the ship here on the West Coast trip. I think the Raptors will be a good palate cleanser, and then they'll go out west. And I think I think they're going to go 3 for 4 out on the West Coast trip. I think they'll probably lose to Denver because they don't have Porzingis.
It depends if Holiday comes back. I could see that, but if Holiday doesn't come back and play, I feel like they're going to have a hard time on that trip against OKC. I mean, obviously OKC still hasn't had Chet for a while, but they haven't had him for a while. But they're still playing pretty well. I think it's definitely a tough task, and they didn't play very well against the West last year. Not overly great, at least. They just crushed everybody in the East. I mean, they shot 54 threes, last night. They only made 19. So it's a thing that they need to figure out. That they got to be able to penetrate. And everyone was off last night, though. Derek White couldn't hit anything.
Except for JB.
He had really good looks.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown played out of his tits, but I mean, everyone else really kind of struggled and couldn't hit. It was just one of those games. I wish that we had the 140 whatever point night against Philly on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Because you see that freaking Embiid got fined $75K for all the freaking gestures and all the shit.
I'm not surprised. I couldn't believe he did that. I was shocked when he did that.
Such a piece of shit. I hate
him so much.
Me
too. Oh.
So much. Mask on or off, he's the most punchable face in freaking basketball. He's so annoying. He's the worst. Absolutely.
That's a game they should have won too, by the way. I mean, honestly, like that's a game that even if they're fatigued, they should have won that game. Philly's not going to beat us in a 7-game series. I just don't see it. Even with all 3 of those guys healthy and playing well, I just don't see it.
Still don't. The only team, I don't even think that. I don't think there's anybody in the East right now that could beat the Celtics in a 7-game series.
Yeah,
if they're healthy.
Yep.
If they're healthy, if they've got Porzingis, they've got Holiday, no one beats them.
Right.
The West has a chance. The West has some really good teams, but right now, no, there's just absolutely no way that they do that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not. If your question, Timmy, was around like, am I concerned? I'm not concerned. My level of concern with them is very low. The Patriots, it's up fucking here.
But Mayo's coming back, so we're all very.
We
excited.
covered that, Scotty. We covered that. We know where
We're
you're.
all very
Where
excited.
We did. Where was I?
We're gonna do Patriots picks. We're skipping the Bruins. We'll get to the Bruins next week. We're gonna do
Bruins
Patriots
are
picks.
2 points out of first place.
I was going to say they're playing really well. Thank you, Timmy.
Bastard stepchildren.
We don't have time.
Timmy has to get to book club.
I want to know. I want to get Rubber Shoes pick. The line right now is Georgia's giving 1. That's what the line is. So it's basically a push. What's your call for the game tomorrow night, Rubber Shoes?
I like Notre Dame.
Shocking.
I think they had one of the easiest roads because Georgia's a 2 seed, but they're not a real 2 seed. Like they got that because they won the ACC, but they weren't ranked at the end of the season ahead of Notre Dame. So I think Notre Dame could beat them. I'm gonna say 34-27 Notre Dame.
Okay. Anybody else want to make a pick on that one game?
No.
Georgia 75-2. Scotty, what's yours? And I love you, Rubber Shoes. I would take a fucking bullet for you. Terrible. We're terrible.
I think
BC was terrible.
That was a rough one, dude.
We're terrible.
Rough. Nebraska game was just.
We're terrible. We just started to squeak back into it. Yeah. And the irony is 20 minutes after the game's over, I get my email from BC. Don't forget, you can renew your season tickets. Yeah. I'm going to see my fucking therapist right now. Like, don't even talk to me. I said to Janine, and we would never go sit in the Bronx at Yankee and watch that game ever. Yeah. Because of the venue. I
don't know what.
Like, are we willing to drive? I'll walk to Orlando for the Pop-Tart Bowl, by the way, which has privately and quietly been dubbed the People's Championship at this point. It's the greatest post-game ceremony and all that stuff. There she is. She's time to go. We got to make our picks.
Those book club's ready.
All right. So,
by the way, at least you were like, you're not playing in the Royale with cheese bowl.
Are we still doing? Did she just start singing Christmas carols? I love it.
She did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The Michigan against Alabama, the Relia Quest Bowl.
Oh,
there you go. That's beautiful.
Relia Quest.
Tomorrow at noon, baby. Go blue. We're gonna get killed. As for the Notre Dame Georgia game, I'd say. Sorry, Billy. I'm gonna say Georgia 28, Notre Dame 20.
Ooh, you're giving them some love. All right.
I love that. I'm sticking with 75-2. All right, Patriots. The Bills are giving 3 points.
Get out of here. That's it?
Well, it's early. It's not even. It's Monday. It's the
Bills are giving 3. I know, but we can make our picks.
33. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
33. Jesus Christ.
Buffalo has nothing to play for, and they have no bye the week after, so they got to take their bye this week.
So what's your pick, Rubber Shoes?
I'm hopeful that Buffalo pulls it out to keep our first overall pick, but I don't know. I think it might be 17-13 Patriots.
Ooh, all right.
I'm going to go 21-17 Bills.
Go ahead, Scotty.
20-6 Pats.
Oh, terrible. I'm going to lay in traffic if this happens.
Totally kidding. There's no way. Our defense would give up 6 points. No, it's going to be. No one called me out on that. 20. I was going to say 20 to.
You had us going to the college football 19. National championship, women's volleyball championship. You had the Patriots winning everything. In August, you had a whiteboard.
And I will every year. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't think I had us going. I didn't even think I made it in the playoffs. Maybe it was barely making.
I think you did.
Anyway.
I think you did.
Yeah. I think you had them getting in.
10-7. I had them at 10-7.
You had them like
10-7.
24-3.
10-7 is the playoffs.
The freaking thing. It was 10-7.
Yeah, you get in the playoffs at 10-7.
Yeah.
11-6 or 10-7. So, 4
You
weeks.
had Brady coming out
Anyway,
of retirement at the bye week.
No, 20-19. Patriots win by 1.
Oh boy.
Just to mess with.
Oh boy. What do you got, Adam?
All
Hey,
right,
if
I'm
we all say the Patriots gonna win, that they'll definitely lose. So
Good.
I'm
Tom, Timmy already
17-10
said this.
Pats. 17-10
Pats. All right,
Do it,
21-17 Patriots.
yes.
All right,
Oh,
let's go.
All right. Yeah, let's lose this fucking game.
Chalk
for
up
God's
the L.
sakes.
Let's go.
All right, we're back at it next Tuesday. We'll join you at 5:00 next Tuesday, brought to you by our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks. And for Rubber Shoes, for Corey and Hair and Makeup, Adam in Connecticut, they're at 74. I won't say it. No? You want me to give out your address?
Oh! I didn't. It's been so long. I totally forgot what you were saying.
Not even waking up.
Oh my God! I thought you were talking about
How was
Georgia
the show?
stuff.
Adam had a stroke at the end. And for Uncle Dukes and our executive producer, Ava, have a great new year. We'll see you next Tuesday. We would love for you to subscribe and like and share and comment. You can do that at atbshow.com.